For whatever reason, I feel extra sick today, man. Like, I know I'll be alright, but like, shit, man. I really had a hard time getting ready this morning. Okay. Anyway, I didn't make a video this morning because, like I said, I felt even more sick in the last 2 days for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, hi, how's it going? So, day 3. Got out the door a little late, but I'm still gonna make it by 7:20. So, this time I brought a small bowl, a little cup of mac and cheese, and some chips with me this time. Something that isn't the little not protein, but little healthy cookie cracker things. I don't know what they're called, but yeah, so it's a little difficult to do frozen food, but oh well. Man, I don't know what the fuck to expect for today, man. So, yesterday, what was that like? Well, it was better, but at the same time, it wasn't than the first day, so. And again, I'm allowed to say something if it gets too much, so, not quit, not that. I mean, if I want to work with other people, I'm pretty sure they'll, because again, I'm on training for like the rest of this week and the next week in general. So, yeah, well, so I met Jeannie. She wasn't really that bad of a person. She throws little hissy fits with Kyle, but she can be kind of little controlling, but ever so slightly. But she's very chill. She's not like, no offense to Candace, but she's not like Candace from ABM, who was always trying to be the best of the best out of everybody. But when you try too hard, it makes you look bad. You know? So, yeah, you try to be a favorite, you try to be employee of the month, it makes you look bad. So from what I saw from Jeannie, she wasn't really that mean. She really wasn't a mean person. She's kind of in the middle herself, but she's still cool. I mean, she's not the worst person I worked with. Kind of like Kyle. Kyle is in the middle. Personally, out of the 3 people I worked with, Alicia, is that her? I think it's Alicia. She was probably one of the cooler ones, but she too, I mean, she was more, probably the best of the 3 was Alicia. But, yeah, so, well, with that being said, how was yesterday? Man, it was good for the most part, but it still sucked at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, it sucks working there, but I'm just gonna tough it out for a while. It really does suck working there. I'm not gonna lie, I really am not a big fan of it too much. I snapped at Kyle yesterday for the first time on fucking day 2, man. But not like hardcore like Michael, but you know, like I had to tell him off on some stuff, man. You know, because I'm like, I get you're a lead, dude, but you got to meet me in the middle. You're not the boss here. You're not the boss here. You're not. I mean, you're a higher level, but you're not going to control me on the things I do and say 100%. What do I mean by that? So, to start off with the morning, it was a sort of okay morning, but he was grouchy majority of the day. He was kind of grouchy. Again, he's high-functioning autism, so I don't know. If it gets too much for me, like I said, I could tell them that. But again, Kyle's a cool guy. He's just overly high functioning. But again, not on the idiotic side like Michael. You know, Michael Brown from round 1. That guy was hardcore. Wasn't doing the job right. And he's still there. But that's not my problem. So, when I went in yesterday, he was a little more quiet slightly, but grouchy at the same time. So he was grouchy because Jeannie was there, and I met Jeannie, and she was kind of how I expected her, you know. But at the same time, she wasn't. I was expecting a know-it-all type lady, but she really wasn't. Honestly, she really, you know. But I could see why some people kind of get into it with her, but I told Kyle, that's none of my business. The beef you got with her has nothing to do with me, you know, and I don't want to be in the middle of that. I just want to get along with everybody, and if it gets too much with these two, then it sucks, because the areas I'm at are actually decent, but just give me different people, you know, but that's not how it works, because that's Kyle's areas, so, you know, I'm just going to shut the fuck up and keep going. Because the work is relatively easy. But he can be a little annoying sometimes and controlling. Like with the garbages. You know, like I wrapped it. You know, I wrapped it and I tightened it. And he was like, it's too loose. I'm just like, who cares? You know, it's tightened. Or it's on. It's not like it's loosely loose. It's tied. And that's all you need. I was just like, is that really needed? You know, like, I asked him that. I was like, is that really needed? But if that's what they require, then, you know, I gotta keep trying. And if I can't, then, oh well. You know, I'm just gonna have to tell them that. Because tying a bag with gloves on is actually kind of fucking difficult. Especially the small ones. Like, I'll constantly rip them, man. I kid you not. I had to use like 2 to 3 bags a couple times. Because I would tie it before, and I'd put it on, and it would rip. I tried that because Kyle would do that, and Amino used to do that. And I was like, that doesn't work for me, man. I was like, I tried it. It doesn't work for me. Truly. That method doesn't work for me at all. So I try to tighten it. When I put it on the bag and it's too loose, I'm just like, sorry. You know, it's tied on there, man. I don't know what to tell you. Really, you know. That's all they should want. Is it tied on there. So he was a little annoying about that. And then, but I just was like, okay, you know, no problem. And then there was another time he came at me about the garbage bin. I was walking ahead, and he was like, PJ, you're supposed to have the garbage bin in front of you. And I'm like, you have the garbage bin. That's what I told him. I was like, I walked ahead, scour ahead to grab the garbages because you have the garbage bin. You're the one pushing the garbage bin, not me. So, and he was like, oh, okay, no, you're right. That's fair. You know, every time I told him something, he wasn't really argumentative about it. But, then he would constantly proceed to tell me how violent he is. I don't know what the fuck he's so proud of that for. Like, oh yeah, I put 25 people in. If that continues, I'm going to say something. Sorry, Kyle, but if that continues, that's going to get on my nerves. But, you know, like I told him, as long as you don't do that shit to me, then there's no problem. you know, that's crazy that you did that, but don't try it on me. That's what I told him. I was like, don't try it on me. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I put a couple people in 25 people at once because I got mad at a video game. I went on a punching spree. I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I don't give a fuck, man. I don't. And, you know, I told him he doesn't scare me. But again, I didn't say that to him to be confrontive. I was just like, you know, just don't try that shit on me. That's all I told him. I was just like, don't try it on me. You know. But that's how I know his stories are a little exaggerated, because maybe he might have done something to someone. But yeah, you know, like, he's an overall nice guy, by the way. He's not a creepy guy. He's a very active, social guy. It's just he's kind of ass backwards with the stuff he talks about with people. And then he'll make sex jokes, but not directed at the women, just in general. Like, he'll be like, this door can fit an elephant's dick in it. And he's saying that so the whole kitchen can hear him. And he's like... And the girls are laughing at this. I don't know how the girls find it funny. I don't really find it funny. Honestly, I never really did. But I don't care. You know, it's going to catch up with him. So I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. But if it proceeds, eventually I'm going to get tired of it. And it's going to suck, because then they're probably going to end up moving me or some shit like that. And I'm not trying... I mean, being a lead is a good thing, but I don't want to be a lead cleaning, man. I want to be a lead somewhere else. You know, doing something else, you know? So... but yeah... He would boast a lot about that. He would boast about his parents beating him a lot. Like, oh yeah, so-and-so, either mom or dad, I don't know, threw a TV at me and messed up my back, and they threw a microwave at me, and I'm just like, oh my God, dude. In my head. I'm not telling him that. I'm just like, dang, man, that sucks. I'm sorry you went through that, man. That's terrible. But I try not to engage a conversation on it. I'm like, okay, just fucking keep going, bro. Just keep going. You know, just keep fucking going. Just shut up and keep going. You know, so there was that. It's like yesterday, or the day before yesterday, like I mentioned, you know, like I'm kind of learning what to say and what not to say, but at the same time, I wasn't even talking to him with this one, and this was the one that I actually said something and told him to stop with this one. I was singing the song, because, you know, so I want to, a friend of mine wants to start a band with me, and I've been thinking about joining a band myself, because I've been getting into music, you know, and I have another friend who also wants to do the band thing too, but little by little, right? So, you know, it's going to be a while for that. So I'm singing to myself, and he tells me to stop singing. And that's when I'm like, you're not going to tell me to stop singing. And he was like instigating it. Like, it annoys me. I'm going to get annoyed. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. And I'm like, yeah, well, let me tell you this, man. Nobody tells me to stop singing. And two, there's no rule that says to stop singing. So I told him. I told him straight up, don't tell me what to do on that, what to say, what to think, you know. And I told him, like I told you yesterday, which was the first day, as long as you meet in the middle with me, I'll meet in the middle with you. That's what I told him. And he wasn't argumentative. He was like, all right. He was like, okay, that's fair. He's like, all right. You know, he didn't try to argue with me, and I told him I'm respectful about it though, man, you know, but if I have a problem, if I have something that annoys me, I'll let you know. That's what I told him. If there's something that you're doing that bothers me, I'll let you know. You know, in return, if you're going to come at me about singing and shit like that, you know, so he's like, yeah, but it's just repeating the same lyrics that gets on my nerves. And I was just like, I get it, man. If it bothers you, it bothers you. It's okay to say something, but do not demand me to stop singing. Do not demand me to stop singing. Do not tell me. Do not try to scare me into stopping singing. Don't do that. Do not do that. And he was just like, okay. So that's why I'm saying, the stuff he says is definitely exaggerated some way, somehow. His stories, because he's more talk, really. And of course, and he keeps telling me, oh, I got massive uncontrollable anger issues. And I'm just like, oh my God, bro. Why did they pair me with this guy? But like, again, he's in the middle. He'll be a good and he talks about Rainbow Six Siege all fucking day. Like, he talks about Rainbow Six Siege the whole time, and I feel bad for Jeannie, because Jeannie's just like, and she makes it obvious that she does that. Like she'll make it obvious that she doesn't want to do what Kyle says, and it sucks because I'm stuck with Kyle. I'm stuck with having to do what Kyle does work-wise. But he knows that if something's not 100%, I'm not going to do it. Hence the singing. Because you can't tell people to stop singing while they're working. You can ask, be like, hey, can you kind of tone it down with the singing a little? I'm sorry, but it's just bugging me a little bit, and I don't want to seem annoying. He's flat out like, can you stop singing? Or he was like, stop singing, and I was like, you're not gonna tell me to stop singing. And I told him straight up, don't tell me to stop singing. That's not how this is gonna work. And he backed off very quickly. And I told him, as long as you meet in the middle with me, I'll meet in the middle with you. If something bothers, I told him, if you're gonna do that to me, then I'm gonna do that to you. And he kind of backed off again. I was like, if you're gonna do that to me, I'm gonna start doing that to you. So he knows I have some kind of authority, no authority, but like, he knows I don't take people's crap to a certain degree too. So, but yeah, he's a very highly functioning autistic fella, and if it gets too much, then I'm gonna go to the managers about it. So simple as that. But yeah, I don't think the areas that I'm at will get any easier than that, unless we're on floors all day. But with my experience with Jeannie, she's more of a huffer and puffer type person. Like, not directed really towards me, but directed more towards Kyle. And, if they don't agree on something, she'll throw her hands up and kind of walk off all dramatic and I'm just like, all right, I see you guys, why you don't get along. But I know it could definitely be stressful for her having to work with someone like Kyle. I know that could definitely be stressful. But all I don't want that girl to do is just to boss me around and not do anything. That's all I want her to do. But again, it ain't gonna be forever. And I hope I don't lose my temper to quit. I really hope. I'm praying on that, that's for sure. But just gotta focus on today. Again, they're just trying to figure me out, and but yeah, on the other hand, oh my God, it was too hot, now it's too cold. Yeah, it's just and then he would talk in this really deep voice, and he'd be like, well, bro, why did my voice change? And I would talk to him in the same way. I don't know, dude, why are you talking like that? Because I thought it was a stupid question, honestly. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm on my way over there. And I'm just looking at him like, why are you talking like that? But then he asked me, why is he talking like that? I'm like, I don't know, because you're trying to be quiet or something. He's like, what? Like, what do you mean? And I was just like, oh, never mind. You asked why. You thought why I thought you were talking like that. So I said, I thought you were being quiet for everybody in the area. And he was like, oh, no, it means and I'm just like, then why? I didn't say, why did you ask? But I was just thinking, like, why did you ask then? Like, but yeah, you know, he definitely, it's going to have to stop at some point, you know. Yeah, and then he sees it as people talking behind his back. You know, people have issues with him and all that. Yeah. But yeah, whether the guy has write-ups or not, I don't know. But yeah, on the other hand, I saw that Ozzy Osbourne died yesterday, and I was just like, oh, well, you know. People who knew his life definitely knew that it was bound to happen at some point. But, you know, he lived a long life. He did live a long life doing all the stuff that he did. And the drugs and all that. But, you know, rest in peace. But at the same time, I hope you knew Jesus before that. You know, I hope you really knew Jesus before your time, man. Because that's not good. That's gonna suck, but who knows? But yeah, you know, that was kind of like a whoa. Okay, yeah, he died. But anyway, yeah, Ozzy Osbourne passing away, and then I guess the Earth was going by faster. The time was moving faster somehow. I didn't really notice, but yeah, I guess the Earth was spinning a little faster yesterday or some shit like that. But yeah, you know. But yeah, on the other hand, I still get along with both of them for the most part. I'm not arguing with either of them or already having major issues. I just had to tell Kyle, you know, to slow your roll and stop, you know, because I'm not up for being told to stop singing and scared into him thinking he's gonna lose his shit and try to give me a heart attack or something like that. That's not gonna work. So, but anyways, it's 23 minutes. Again, it's day 3, half the week. I just got to focus on today. Yesterday already happened. It's over. And, you know, say something if there's problems. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. So, bye for now.